Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and thank you also for everyone that's been watching and supporting my videos. It really means a lot to me, so thank you. Today I've got something fun for you. We're going to be painting a basket full of vegetables using watercolors. I found this reference photo on Pinterest of a basket filled with vegetables. And I found it very interesting and colorful, so that's what I decided to draw and paint for today. It had a mix of different veggies, but I ended up changing quite a bit or even quite a lot of the composition. So, for example, there weren't any carrots in the original, there was a rhubarb in that spot instead. And I also moved the garlic around a different place. So on the bottom left part were quite some garlic, and I just decided to only draw one of it on the top right part of this drawing. And the original also had quite some bell peppers, but I decided to leave those out and replace them with something else, like with this spinach. And in the end, while tweaking with the composition, I just ran out of space for the leftover veggies from the reference image, so I just decided to add tomatoes here and some stuff there to fill the blanks. Now I'm going to just remove a little bit of the graphite, not too much, not that I'm losing the reference, but just a little bit so that it doesn't show up too heavy on the painting. I'm also going to use a masking fluid for the roots of the radish because I want to keep them light and I don't want to paint and skip them over because that's just going to be a lot of work. I didn't actually write down the exact colors I used for today's painting, and honestly, I don't even remember all of them. I was kind of mixing as I went, and if you're painting along with me or if you are deciding to repaint this afterwards, feel free to use whatever colors you have on hand, and also feel free to just add any vegetables into the basket that you would like to or that you feel more comfortable with to paint or to draw. I wanted to keep this video a bit more calm and peaceful, so you'll mostly see the painting process with some relaxing music in the background. And I think I will still give that moment to this video. And before that, I just wanted to briefly explain, give a summary of what I'm doing here. I start by laying down the base layers, just some simple washes to block in the main colors. And I also try not to paint objects that are next to each other at the same time, since the wet paint can bleed in another object next to it. When painting an object, I also make sure that I'm using slightly different colors in that one subject or object to give it more of an interest. So, for example, like this tomato, I don't just use one red color. Instead, I layer different colors like some yellows, some cooler, warmer reds, a touch of orange, and even some dark red. And if you also can observe a tomato in real life, sometimes some of them will still have some hints of green. With the zucchini or courgette, I don't know how you call it in English, I originally painted it with a cool green, and that wouldn't have worked because I felt it blended too much into the background, which I plan to keep in a cool and dark green color. So I lifted that layer and repainted it using a warmer olive green to help it stand out because it's almost, an object that is in the foreground. And then I keep on filling the base layers, and then when I also saw that some layers were already dry, I already started to adding some little details. So now I've moved on to the detailing stage. When I add details, I don't really switch to entirely new colors. Instead, I'm using the same ones from the base layers, just in a thicker mixture. So earlier, everything was more watered down, and now I'm using the paint almost like straight from the palette. I think there's a term for this, but I can't remember it at the moment. For the carrot leaves, I used a cool bluish tone. I think it's more of a warm blue, to use them as more as a background, to keep them a bit subtle and say, okay, they're in the back of the leaves. So I started painting the inside of the box and I chose to go with very dark tones. And the colors I use for these dark tones are depending on the vegetables or the color of the vegetables next to them. For example, the carrot here is orange, and since orange and blue are complementary, I used a deep blue next to the orange carrot. Yeah, and as I got closer to the reddish, I shifted the color to green, which is the complementary of red. And if you also look a little bit on the top left side near the carrot leaves, I used sort of a really dark red because that is the complementary color of green. And I find that this gives more of an interest to the background. By the way, I have a question for you. Do you prefer videos with just relaxing music and no narration? Or do you enjoy hearing a voiceover as I paint, or maybe a mix of both? Please let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear what you think. I also hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching and staying until the end. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!